Hello and welcome to Speak Up Sis podcast. This is the place where everyday women and men have an opportunity to share their stories to inspire yours. We say what you think no one wants to hear, but everyone needs to know. I am your host, Angel Charmaine, and tonight is the third Monday of the month. Therefore, this is encouraging experts. And so you all already know that my beautiful co-host is here with me, Miss Charnel Williams. How are you doing, sis?
I am great. How are you?
I am doing well. It's always good to be back in the studio with you.
Right. This is my first time seeing you this year.
Yeah, in studio, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, you look fabulous.
Thank you.
Loving the natural, the loose natural and all that good stuff.
Thank you. I'm trying some different things.
Yeah.
YouTube University has taught me a couple of things.
It's amazing. What did we ever do without
I don't know.
YouTube, GPS?
I don't know.
Or any of that?
I don't remember.
My goodness. Thank God for the entrepreneurs who created these devices. I do remember printing out that MapQuest paper.
MapQuest, yeah. Yeah, I remember MapQuest.
And then before that, you just learned the names of roads and you wrote it down. It's like, okay, tell me where I turn and about a Krispy Kreme and about a...
Yeah. We had, back home, we remembered all the exits, the exit numbers. Mm-hmm. That's how we would know.
Right.
So one of my friends, when my father passed a few years ago, we went back to New Jersey to bury him. Mm-hmm. And they were like, how do you know all the exit numbers? And I'm like, I don't know. It's just a habit. We didn't realize. I don't do that
before
now.
GPS.
Yeah.
Now,
just the name.
I can't even go to the grocery store without it.
Right. Especially Waze, because I'm like, they're going to tell me where the police at. They're going to tell me, where the traffic jams are. Yeah, I don't know how I do it without it. But anyway,
thank you to the entrepreneurs who came up with these amazing new apps and things that have made our lives so much easier, right? And I think we're just good at this. That's why I love you. It's a beautiful segue into what we're talking about today. So I'm gonna let you introduce our amazing, beautiful guests tonight.
Well, today, to start the new year off right.
Yes.
We have three beautiful ladies that are here to talk about how to learn entrepreneurship in 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. So they have, I don't know if it's a podcast.
Mm-hmm. It is a podcast.
That they share 5-minute career hacks. So I want to go ahead and introduce them.
Okay.
First, I want to introduce Jamila.
Yes, we're going to bring the ladies up so that you all can see them. Hello, ladies. How are y'all doing?
Good evening. Good evening. How are you all?
We're doing well. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate the opportunity and look forward to sharing with you and your audience tonight.
That's what's up. So, Charnel, we're going to start. You want to start with Jamila? That what you say?
Yeah. Jamila, she introduced herself.
All right. No, let's go ahead. Jamila, we're going to start with you and allow you to introduce yourself to our viewers.
Excellent. Thank you. My name is Jamila Brown, born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. That's where I'm coming to you live from tonight. I'm actually a former basketball coach and collegiate basketball player. And that's where a lot of my leadership styles come from. Spent close to 20 years in corporate America, primarily in retail for some of the largest retailers in the world. So that's where most of my experience in my career has come from. But, unlike most people, I love to travel. And more than anything, I'm a servant leader is probably how I would describe myself to the world. My mission is to serve others and serve God with love. So that's a little bit about me. I'll kick it to who's next.
All right. Servant leadership is the best type of leadership. So we like that here on Speak Up Sis podcast, Jamila. Just want to let you know, because we like talking about the Lord, but we ain't talking about the Lord tonight. But we like that you.
We ready if we got to go there.
Yes. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. And so we are going to move on over to, I believe it's Alicia.
Yes.
All right. Alicia.
All right. Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm Alicia Wade. I'm actually coming from Houston. I am a native Houstonian, so I'm excited to tune in this evening from Houston. I guess how I would describe myself first, I'm a wife and mom, and I think that really inspires me as a leader to think about all the things that people have to balance. And I have a dual career, so I actually still work full time, and I'm working on what that means in regards to making sure that I'm splitting my time with my passions and things that I like to do. So by day, I am a retail regional manager for Athleta, and obviously am the co-founder here with the 5-Minute Career Hack. So I guess if I would share, do I share that I like long walks and like to travel?
Girl, you can share whatever you want to share. This is your time.
I'm giving Jamila a hard time, but because she always shares some of her passions, and that definitely gets us energized. But I would say, I like to make sure that I can help people get there faster. And I feel like, oftentimes, particularly for Black people in the workplace, my experience has been that we learn by trial and error, opposed to someone that has gone before us. And that's really what's inspired this space and really what inspires my leadership.
Awesome. That's great. And so true. So true. We don't want to help each other. We're scared. We got to keep it close to the chest. And it's enough money out here for everybody.
Hurry.
Okay. But
everybody. We're not going to do that tonight, Charnel.
That's not what it's about. My apologies, ladies.
So listen, everybody, you all already know Charnel and I are so accustomed to showing up into this space, just the two of us, and sharing what we bring to the table and sharing the information that we have. And the 5-Minute Career Hack, they're our very first entrepreneurs to share this space with us. And so tonight is going to be all about them. Okay, so Charnel and I are going to behave.
She's talking to me.
All right. Thank you, Alicia. And we're going to move to Candace.
Oh, I love the singing. That's a good segue into me talking about myself a little bit too with singing. So I'm Candace Hunt. I currently reside in Austin, Texas. I'm not from here. I'm originally from Chicago, but I was born and raised in retail for my career. So I traveled over the last 7 years to several different states for my career. My first job as a full-time mom. So I have a 4-year-old son and a 7-year-old daughter. I currently work in the hospitality and real estate industry as a director, and then also one of the co-founders at 5-Minute Career Hack. And if I had to choose a word to define myself, and I think about this across different areas of my life, I would just say leader. And it kind of started when I was younger. I started directing choirs in church at a very young age, and didn't even realize at the time the superpower that would give me as I moved into my career in life. But I'm a leader at home, I'm a leader at work, obviously a leader at 5-Minute Career Hack, and able to use that superpower of developing people as we continue to develop our business model. So I'm excited to be here today.
That's what's up. So are you saying that you can sing?
Well, if you listen to episode, let me see, I think Boss Up, I was singing a little bit of Khalees. I gave y'all a little Chris Brown last week. So I'm tapping back into my alto. I was telling the ladies last week, I'm trying to get back into my alto, but in the choir, I was a tenor. But I got a couple tunes in me.
Come on in the room.
Oh, that's one of my jams right there. Don't get me started.
Okay. All right. I said I was going to be.
Y'all talk about me.
That doctor writing them scriptions.
I said I was going to behave. Okay. So, yeah, that singing intro was nice then. That was nice for the singer in the group. So that's what's up. Welcome, Candace, to Speak Up Sis podcast, the encouraging expert segment. We appreciate you for coming into the space as well. Now, let's get down to business. we want to go ahead and start talking about what it is that you all do and how you show up and how you even decided you wanted to do this and all that good stuff. So, Charnel, I'm going to let you start this conversation. Where we want to go?
So I want to ask, how did the three of you meet and get started with this podcast?
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll kick us off. We started working together, I believe it's 2013, 2014. And at the time, Candace and Alicia, they were both in Houston and I'm in New Orleans, and Louisiana's kind of always the forgotten geography in retail. So I was being passed around from a Florida region to a Houston to the Texas region. And I finally hooked up with the Texas region. And I'll tell you, we hit it off immediately. And since then, we've all worked for several other corporations over the last decade. But we've always maintained connection when we're in each other's towns. We connect. So we've been friends for a long time, but that's really turned into family over the last 10 years. And that kind of brings us to how we got to this place. So in probably summer of 2020, Candace reached out to me and she said, "Hey, Jay, I think we should start this consulting firm." And I was like, "All right, tell me about it." And so she starts telling me some things that, God had placed on her heart and what she'd been thinking about and all this knowledge and information that we had bottled up in us and we needed to share it, right? Especially based upon what we saw in the workplace. And you only can do so much mentoring in the workplace, uncut, to really help people without restriction. So I think in one conversation, that night I was like, okay, yep, sounds great. Let's go. It's kind of always my attitude anyway. So I was like, yeah, let's go. And then we were kind of like inching along. I don't even know if it was inching. It might've been like something less than an inch. We weren't moving really quickly. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, we're like, man, there's no way we can really do this without Alicia. I don't even know what we're waiting on. So I recorded a video while I was in the gym working out one day. And I said, "Hey, so need you to come do this. No, I'm not going to be able to explain in between reps everything, but just know it's going to be great and we need you. So say yes. And this message will explode in the next minute," right? It's literally how I sent the message. And she agreed to join us. But for whatever reason, we didn't quite catch our rhythm or the structure of the organization and how we wanted to present to the market and our clientele. It just didn't gain traction. And we're all believers. And so we wanted it to be right if we were going to do it. And so we just kind of were dormant all the way until probably, I think it was September of 2021. And I'll turn it over to Candace to kind of share a little bit about how that conversation went.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. So, and Jamila mentioned it so well too. She said we had a lot of like hacks that were bottled up in us and we were sharing them, of course, in the workplace, right? Mentoring. And I talked about my superpower being developing people. And I was seeing people move really fast in their careers. So we had already proven to ourselves that we could do this, right? Like that we could help others outside of the workplace succeed. But what we were finding ourselves doing as well, and this was kind of right in the middle of like the second leg of the pandemic, we were always on the phone with a cousin or a friend or someone who trusted us enough and needed leadership advice. And we were helping them move forward as well. So that was just another example that, okay, we need to monetize this. And then we also need to get this out to the masses. So honestly, it was a part of just doing some consultant work with another organization where we had helped them put together a masterclass. And then Jamila and I participated in my family reunion where we did a development coaching session at my family reunion.
Well, that's
and I was right. And I'm like, wait a minute. Now we're modular out here. So how do we take this and again, reach the masses? And of course, virtual master classes was like really popping around that time as well. So I just called the ladies up and said, hey, we're modular. We've been talking about this stuff for several years. How about we put together a masterclass called Rise and Thrive and just try to get out information around promotion, salary negotiations, and how to really rise and thrive in your career. And without question, both of the ladies said, okay, yep, sign me up. We started right away with putting a business plan together and getting it out and marketing it. And it was such a great success. And what we saw from that, we learned a lot throughout that process, of course. But what we saw from that there was just more questions. Okay, that was great information, but now can you help me with what I do next? Right. And so that's where the community was birthed. So we have a community, a career community that we have. You can join for 1 month free, and then it's $10 after that. It won't be $10 for long. So if anybody who's listening to this is your chance to join the community. But it was just another safe place that we wanted to create for those alike who had attended the Rise and Thrive, as well as those that we were on the phone with, to help give them just additional information. So we post jobs there. We have transparent conversations. We do live webinars. Alicia led us last week in an amazing personal SWOT webinar. I'm still full from it on last week. We do deep dives into our podcast. So we do those live as well. And so that community was really like, okay, now we're building the network. Of course, we're going to continue to build it, but that was just kind of building the network following Rise and Thrive. So it's been an amazing journey. And I know Alicia is going to share a little bit about kind of where we've been since we launched Rise and Thrive in the community. So I'm going to kick it over to her.
Well, prior to going there, as you two are talking and I'm watching the dynamic, I would like to interject here something that just kind of came to me as I'm listening. I'm sure you all have worked with other people other than just the three of you together. What is it about the three of you? What are your individual, if I can use a word that we're using a lot in the culture now, what are your individual superpowers? What are the things that you thought, Alicia is like Superwoman for this, and you know what, Jamila, oh my goodness, she's Wonder Woman for this. What are your individual superpowers that made you realize the three of you would work versus some of the other people that you may have worked with?
Of course, and I'll let the ladies speak to their superpowers. But so as I talked about when I introduced as well, so one of my superpowers was developing people. Mm-hmm. And I really kind of coined that as a change agent. And as I led multiple teams across different companies, being a culture curator, getting people to move to the beat of the drum that I was directing, mm-hmm. right? And so one of the reasons that I wanted to reach out to these queens here is because when I first started my career at Ross, I don't know if we've said this publicly, but Alicia was my first interview. She was my HR interview at Ross. And I remember being super nervous, but when I got off the phone, I was like, wow. And literally every moment since then, I learned something every time I talked to her. And I hope she feels the same, of course, but I learned something. I feel smarter. And the same for Jamila. She's mentored and coached me throughout. So I couldn't think of two better queens to partner with to launch 5-Minute Career Hack.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah, and I'll share. I feel like my superpower is being a motivator, mm-hmm. and I think it comes from, my background in sports. I will say throughout my career, I enjoy seeing what maybe people don't see in themselves and pulling that out and creating that space. Because I think sometimes when we talk about psychological safety, mm-hmm. people aren't always encouraged if they don't have it fully baked. Right. They're not encouraged to ask that question. And I'm always that person to say, wait a minute, I see you. What are you thinking? What do you have going on? So I feel like that's that energy piece, but I'll speak for myself and why I wanted to do this with Jamila and Candace is I think we all are on the same page that we want to be around people that are better than us. Mm-hmm. We always work that way. It was never any competition. And we actually collaborated that way when we were actually peers. And it was, hey, you're doing this better. Tell me how you're doing this. And it was always just very seamless. It was never any negative energy for me. It felt like, and what we were achieving, I won't say it was necessarily together, but you felt that, right? Even though there was a competition in the environment that we were in, and they were just so open. And I'll speak on what I think they do really well since you asked, Miss Angel, is I think what you'll see if you look at Jamila's content, I feel like people don't see a lot of Black women that are really into financial. At least for myself, every time I've gotten any financial advice, it's usually been a man or a white man. And I think Jamila is on these tables. She is telling you about the drip. She is just phenomenal when it comes to that piece. And I know she'll speak to that. And I think Candace is just so detail oriented. And that's why I was drawn to it. I mean, she is in the details of things. And I think that's where love is. So that's why I feel like I wanted to work with her, because she always has a fresh and different perspective. But I appreciate that about her.
That's what's up. Jamila, we ready. What y'all just say? I'm like, can we join the team? Okay, go ahead.
And honestly, that's the energy it feels like. We probably communicate on 4 different mediums, whether that's our text message group, FaceTime, WhatsApp, there's a Marco Polo. Like, we communicate constantly, and sometimes in all of them at the same time. So the energy is number one for me. After leaving corporate America, I was the first to make my exodus from corporate America. And I'll tell you that part for me, my peace and my energy is paramount. And to Alicia's point, we've always collaborated, like from day one. I can remember first conversations with the Queens, and the energy has always been right. I've never had to second guess, think twice. It's always been right. And then superpower wise, I would say they're spot on, but to the point of that getting better, it is so important to surround yourself with people that can complement your blind spots. And I have blind spots. We all do. And they complement mine in an extraordinary way. And I appreciate that. They keep me honest. My personality is I want to go now, and I want to go as fast as I possibly can. And because of Candace's detail orientation, she's going to kind of be like, okay, wait, let's make sure. And she's going to get us in line. Right. And then Alicia is going to make sure the vibe of it all makes sense and it's aligned with our purpose and what we're trying to accomplish. So that's what makes it work so well together, because I think we all have our individual superpowers, but at the same time, because of our backgrounds and the way we've worked, we're able to come together and have each other's back, because we're all doing other projects and other things. And that was also very important to us as well. And then for me, I would say, when I was younger, I wanted to be an artist, like my father, and he talked me out of it. So I ended up majoring in marketing. And so this has given me the opportunity to also express myself from a content creation standpoint, in addition to investing. So it's kind of like a full circle moment for me to be able to express myself in that way and carry that part of the business forward. So that's what I would describe.
I think that's awesome. The 3 of you can come together, can establish a business, a successful business. But for me, I'm in business by myself. I know with me, my personality, it's better, depending on the business, right?
Right.
That I operate by myself. But I can really appreciate a group of women that can come together, understand their roles, respect each other's roles, not step on each other's feet, understand what your strengths are. If you notice, they were complimenting each other, right, and stating what they believe the other person's strengths were. Right. And I think that is just so dynamic. And it's a testament that as Black women, or as women, as people, we can come together.
No, we're gonna go there. We're gonna go there. We're not gonna candy coat it. This ain't Blue Flame, but we're gonna say it.
Okay. You
all are a testament to the fact that Black women can create something individually, because that's what you've done. They've created their own space individually, right? Then they came together and brought their individual talents together and created something collectively.
Like us.
Give me some.
Girl.
Yeah.
But continue. And
y'all are doing a fabulous job. And so I don't want to graze over yes, we can talk about people in general, but I think it's important that we point out that these are Black women.
And see that it is possible.
It is possible.
So kudos to you ladies.
Kudos.
And another thing that I liked when listening to you is how you give all this information. You have all this information that you're willing to share.
Yes.
Like I tell my clients, or one of the things, the rule of thumbs that I try to live by is to give information, but sell the implementation. Right?
That's good.
I'll sit here and go on this YouTube and go on, do lives and go on the podcast every day.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to know how I do it,
you have to pay me for that part.
Yeah, you're going to have to pay me on how to actually put it into action.
Yes.
Right? I can give you all the information, but you need to know how to execute it. So I think what these ladies are doing, or what you ladies are doing, is just awesome because it's needed.
Yeah.
Right?
It is. I think I read maybe in one of the bios that you all sent that sharing is like your number one hack. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was dope when I saw that. Most definitely. So listen, we want to go here with this. Before I ask you how you come up with these hacks, I want to ask, who are these hacks designed for? Like, who's your target?
You can take that one, Alicia.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, oh, we still there?
No. I was looking at them. I'm so used to being on Zoom. You know, you're looking at the mics to make sure you don't overtalk someone. So that's why I was like looking to make sure. Yeah. So, you know, our hacks are for the busy professional. So I think when we think about all the stages of careers and our demographics, whether you're in college or you're in the first 5 years of your career, like that's one of our clients. We have people that are kind of like mid-professionals, and that's usually where we get a lot of questions and needs for promotions and advancing in their role. And then we also have a lot of people, especially with the pandemic, that are now looking to move out of their current career. So there may be different industries that they're moving into, wanting to go into entrepreneurship, but those are our three main clients that we make our hacks for.
Okay, that's what's up. And how do you, what's your process for coming with the hacks? Does one person say, oh, I think I got this one, or do you create your videos individually, or do you do them separately, or do you decide together that you're going to do this, you're going to do that, I'm going to do this? Like, what's that process like?
Well, I'll kick us off and I'll turn it over to Candace. I think originally it was very, I don't want to say loose, but I think our ideation process, we committed when we came together to do it ugly. And that's where we were stuck before, is that it was all these fantastic crafted information, and we did all this research, but it was not coming off the paper. And that's what we got started in October of, you know what, it is okay if we fail. So you're going to look back at some of our videos and the audio is trash, if I'm being honest, right? The lighting is not there. And we continue to push ourselves forward to be this example of, you know what, like at the end of the day, I think a lot of people feel like failing is the worst thing that you can do. And at the 5-minute career hack, we feel like staying the same is the worst thing you can do. Right. And you're not going to always get better, but if you don't put yourself out there. So I say that to say this year we have got more organized. So we actually have interns now. They help us with research. We have a marketing campaign to kind of think about things that are going on in the environment. So while we will forecast 90 days, 6 months out, obviously we also react to what's going on in the current environment. And that's where our weekly meetings come into place to say, is this still relevant? Let's talk about it. And that's how we come up with the information. I don't even know who I can say who came up with how we should do it, where it's different people, but it kind of just naturally came together for us to all kind of have our own week and be in the cadence that we're in now. So so we do them individually. So each week it's like a separate podcast that each one of us hosts to make sure that we keep up with the time. Candace, would you add anything? Did I miss something?
Of course, I think you stated it beautifully. The only thing I'd add is, so there's no like arrival point to, okay, here's the hacks and this is all we have. And this is what we're offered. That's continuing to grow. The more that we assess the environment, observe what's happening in the workplace, come across those people that's on the phone, right? And like, let's talk about a solution for this person. And we also, for businesses, right? And even in our own daily businesses, we have new problems that come up every day. And it forces us to think differently about what can we create to help solve this problem, either for the person or for the business. So that's the other thing I'd say. It started from organic conversation. Then we made a list, and the list is going to just keep on growing and growing as we continue to practice this and help clients.
I like that. And I want to piggyback off of what Alicia was saying about failure. I think we view failure as a bad thing. It depends on how you view it, right? I view failure as an opportunity to see what you can do better and fix. So like we were talking earlier, and we were talking about your series,
the Everyday Woman series, yeah.
And because it evolves, right? Because you see, okay, well, I can do this better now. I can tweak this. I can tweak that. But if you don't start and do something, you won't know what needs to be done or what you can tweak or what needs to be better or what your audience needs. Right. But if you don't put anything out there, you don't have anything to measure it by. Right. So I don't even know if I would call it failure as opposed to opportunity. It's growth, right? It gives you an opportunity to say, hey, okay, I did this, but I can do this better. Or next time I'm going to try it this way. Right. You know, but some people want to, and we talked about this the other day too, they want to be, you know, they're shooting for perfection. Yeah. But sometimes you don't know what perfection is until something happens or until you fail or whatever, however you want to define it.
And perfection means you're good, like you're done. To me, that's what perfection is, and which leads me to something else. I believe it was Alicia says, staying the same. And if y'all notice, I take notes. I'm learning. If you're
look, let me tell you, Jamila gets on me for turning the pages. Like she always has to edit me taking a page out. So if I show you my Bible study book that has a zipper around the side, yes, I'm with you with the notes for sure.
I'm telling you. And if you are watching Speak Up Sis podcast, encouraging expert segment, and you do not have paper and pen, something's here. I ain't gonna talk bad about you tonight, but you should, because that is what this is about: learning, being encouraged, and also getting some tips and strategies from people who are in the trenches right there with you. But Alicia says staying the same is the worst thing that can happen.
Because business is about growth.
Yes.
If you stay in that same spot, everyone is moving on and evolving, and you're still using a fax machine. Or writing down your book, your numbers for your books. When people and I've said it before, I can do everything from my phone because you got to keep up with the times. And you also have to understand that your audience, they're evolving too. Yep. So you have to speak their language.
That's right.
I know for me, a few years ago, people texting and I'm like, as far as business and work wise, and I'm like, no, they need to pick up the phone and talk to me. Like, all this text. To me, I just looked at, that's cowardly. You know, they don't want to talk to me, or they don't want to face me, or don't want to have adult conversation. Right. But as time goes on, you realize people like to text more than anything, So you just, adapt.
You adapt.
Which is part of evolution and evolving in your business.
Exactly. But you got to start in order to get to that place where how are you going to adapt something that you've never started, right? So I'm with you on that. Those are some great points, Alicia. We were sitting here jotting down notes while you were talking. I was like, okay, we need to jump into that. I want to ask you all, why 5 minutes? What is it about the 5 minute? Because it could have been 30 minutes, it could have been an hour, it could have been 15. Why 5 minutes?
So I'll take that one. As we were approaching Rise and Thrive, it was I think a 45-minute masterclass that we did. But for all three of us, we've sat in $1 million training programs in corporate America. You name it, we've sat through it at this point between the three of us. And the big thing that comes from it is, what are you doing with that information later? Right. So I'm talking every year, 2 to 3 major week-long courses, 8-hour days, 5 days a week. And really and truly, I would probably be able to say I took away maybe 5-10% of that. And I know they would probably agree with me in just understanding the way we're consuming content and information. The one thing that we wanted to make sure that everyone knew is that this doesn't have to take forever. right?
Right.
It doesn't have to take forever. It is everything that we're going to cover is shining some light on a situation that once we unveil it to you, you'll understand it, and it'll just take some courage to walk through it. But there's no need for us to be talking for 3 and 4 hours at a time. It's just not necessary. And you all have listened to some of the podcasts, and it's enough information there that if you take that, and that's weekly, right? So if you take that information and you jot down a couple of things and implement them right then and there, you can actually move forward. You can take a step forward. It doesn't have to be a mile forward, but just a few steps, and you'll be better than you were the week before. That's tangible, measurable growth, which is what we're looking for. We don't want to do this to find somebody, spend hours, days, months with us and really not have any movement or progress, tangible progress to show for it. So that's where the 5 minutes came from. And it challenges us, right? Because there's always more that we want to say and share with people, but it also makes sure that it's very concise and actionable. So that's kind of how it came to life, is kind of some of the stuff we've gone through in our career from a learning and development standpoint to now to this place to make sure people can get it. Because you're full time, right? If you're in corporate America, if you're listening, you're full time, you've got a job, you may have kids, you've got a lot going on. So development tends to take a back seat. So we're going to try and give it to you in 5 minutes.
Right. I think that is really smart. And I think sometimes it's overwhelming, right, Charnel? I think it's, especially if you're trying to level up in your career, if it's corporate America, you want to move to another level, right? You don't want a lateral move. You want to be able to go up. Right. Or if you're trying to switch careers, because I've also seen you all, you have a hack that deals with interviewing, right? So if you're getting back out there and you want to start interviewing, which I have started in a way, putting myself out there and having to interview when I haven't had to do that in so many years. Sometimes watching the 3-hour long webinar, it's overwhelming. And to know that I can watch something for 5 minutes and, like you all said, actually have some actionable tips that I can go implement and see something and accomplish something and then go, that worked.
Right.
I got it. Okay, now I can go on to the next thing in these little bite-sized chunks of information. I think it's a really smart idea, but do that. Make sure you click subscribe as well as the notification bell so that you get alerts every time we are here in the space. So, Charnel, who we got in the building?
So we got Zakia.
Hi, Zakia.
And we have Gemma.
Hey, Gemma, how you doing?
Gemma comes every week.
Yes, she does.
She comments and tells us how beautiful we look.
We love you, Gemma.
Every month.
Every month.
So we appreciate you and thank you for that.
Thank you.
And we have Jen B. I don't know. She might be from Houston.
Yeah.
She was kind of excited about Houston, Texas.
Yeah. She's like Houston, Texas.
And she likes the hacks. She said the hacks would definitely be for her. And they're very useful. And Chris Bolinas says hello, beautiful women. Hello.
Chris. All right. So we are going to, hold on just a second, everybody. All right. Well, we're going to go back to our ladies and let's go ahead and jump into these hacks. We want to ask you, what has been one of your most popular hacks so far? What has it been about?
Before we go there, I wanted to just talk about, I took some notes too. About the hacks and why I'm a fan of the 5-minute hacks is because we live in what I call a microwave generation. We want what we want now. We don't want to wait. We're impatient. Our attention span is low. And I think that if I can get quality over quantity, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Because like most people, we have so many other things going on in our lives. To sit there and to get some meat, some good information in 5 minutes or less than 5 minutes that I can use that will help me grow, help me make money, help me to be more organized, help me be a better leader, I think is golden.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants to sit here and talk. And, you know, I'm let's get to the point type of person.
Yeah.
I don't want all the fluff. Tell me what I need to know so I can do it and move on to the next thing.
You know what I call that? Jaw jacking. we don't want to do a whole bunch of jaw jacking.
Right. So I think it's perfect, you know, for people who are busy and just want some good content.
Right.
You know, like you go listen to these webinars and they give you this whole spill and background. Listen, I already know you know something.
Right.
That's why I'm here.
Right.
I don't need your whole history. Like, tell me what I need to know so I can end this meeting and just do something else.
Exactly.
Or implement what you're telling me.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think that's a great thing about these three ladies as well. They have actually done this work. They've been in the world of work and are still in that space. What better people to show up and to teach you in these increments, in these smaller increments, right? Than people who have done it and who are currently
still doing it.
Exactly. They're actually doing the work. So listen, everybody, if you are not already subscribed to Speak Up Sis YouTube, make sure that you do that. Thank you, Jen B. She says, hey. And Chris says, it's nice to see you back in the studio. Chris, we are excited to be back in the studio again as well. So you all give us just a second because we are working to grab our guests. So hold on just a second. Can they hear us?
Yes, we can hear you guys.
Oh, okay. Let's keep it moving then. We couldn't see y'all, so.
Your screen is frozen, but we're still here.
Oh, okay. We're good to go. So let's keep it pushing. And the question that I pose to you all is, what has been one of your most popular hacks thus far?
Yes, I'll kick us off because I know we're going to talk even more about it. But, you know, when the question was asked the other day, when Jamila and I were talking about it, she's like, what's your favorite hack? And I off the bat was like, options. Options is my favorite one. And the reason for that is we like work with clients, and even what we've seen, the rules that we were taught in our career is that there's this like one way to do things. And I think back even to my first job, you got to be in this role for 4 years. Then you go here in 4 years, then you go here in 4 years. And I was allowing it to take me that long. Right. And then that other rule that we were taught was you stay loyal to a company and you be there until you're 62 so you can retire. And, you know, next thing you know, you're retired and you're tired. You haven't vacationed enough. Right. You don't have freedom. You retire to go back to work. Right. And so when the reason that hack really resonated with me was because I want to make sure that I have a brother who's 19 in college, right? I want to make sure he understands before he even enters the workforce what his options are. It doesn't have to just be that you stay in one role or one company forever. You can, you know, jump around, go learn new things, make sure that you're networking with the right people. And also, you know, ensuring that you're protecting that dollar, which I know Jamila's going to talk about that compensation as she talks about the options hack. So that's the most popular one that I would say for me and what resonated with me.
All right. Well, guess what, everyone? Those of you who are in our viewing audience, we've got a clip of the 5-minute career hack women, or at least one of them anyway, in action. Miss Jamila Brown is going to share just a little bit on one of the hacks. So let's take a look at this hack that Candace was just talking about, options.
Money working for you. Every day, every dollar must be out there working for you. This is your option one. Your money works for you. It's your employees. It doesn't call in sick, it doesn't get tired, and it surely doesn't complain. But is your money working for you? Check out episode 7, That's on Me, for more on how to get your money working for you on your job. And then I want you to take it a step further and make sure your money's working for you personally. This will always be your number one option, you being in control. You want to be in control, just like our Career Hackers community. Option 2, the side hustle. You have skills which enable you to do work for other people.
All right. Now, I like that first option. And if you all want to know what the other 4 options are, you're going to just have to go to the 5-Minute Career Hack YouTube page and check them out. We wanted you all to get a glimpse at what it is they do. And I love watching Jamila. All the women are amazing. They really are. You just got to watch them all. But she is like, I'm like, yeah, she coached. You could tell she been on the court. She like, look, team, set it up. Right. So that was just a snippet, just a clip of the options. So we're going to allow you all to talk a little bit more about that particular clip and that hack.
Yeah. So one of the things that we tend to do, right, because of the conditioning that Candace just spoke about, is automatically go to work for someone, making their priorities our priorities. That's what we tend to do right out the bat, especially, when you're young and you're just getting out of school or just getting into the workforce. That's the automatic thing to do so you can start making money. And what we're trying to do is recondition, right? We're going to servant leadership comes into play. We want to recondition you to put yourself first, right? That's a life hack and a career hack.
I like that.
Anybody that says, oh, I love my work and, I'm doing my work for this company, that is, and that's the number one reason, that's a lie. It's a lie. The number one reason you go to work is to take care of your family. Otherwise, you would do it for yourself. So once you tell yourself the truth that the number one reason is the money so that you can take care of you and your family, then you can prioritize you and your family. You can also stop being mad at corporate America as well. Right? Because everybody at your job is prioritizing themselves. And that's what they should be prioritizing themselves. They should never put you before their children. That makes no sense, right? And so you can put that mentally and psychologically in the right order and then take care of your money. So you're going to get money every pay period. You're sometimes going to get options for stock awards. You're going to get 401k, maybe deferred comp. There's benefits, there's vacation, PTO, sick leave. I mean, there's all this money, and all we focus on is the check. Once it hits our account, it's spent, and then we start the cycle over again. And so that's why that first option, we could really teach a masterclass on, because it is number one. And we can reorganize that, pay ourselves first, and make sure the money's actually working for us. Inflation right now is roughly about 7.5%.
Yeah.
The highest it's been in forever.
Yeah.
So if you got money sitting in the bank, you're losing 7% on the year. So if your money's actually not working for you, you're losing money. So you go, picture this in your mind. You go to work to make money.
They're going to coach. Look at them hands.
Here it comes, right? You go to work to make money. You get the money into your account and it starts losing money. Like that is a defeated mentality. It's why so many people are upset in corporate America. It's why so many people are upset, because it's, as soon as you get the money and you've worked for it, it's gone. So you've got to put the money to work for you, whether that's through investing, real estate. There's so many different options out there for us to get our money working for us, because ultimately Social Security is not going to be there. No one's coming to save us. So if your money's not working for you, that's the first position that you must take to have career options.
Right.
That's ultimately what's going to give you the leverage across everything else that we'll share with everyone tonight, is if you've got money working for you, it'll help you make quality decisions for you and your family, which is what we want for everyone. But if your back's against the wall financially, you're going to make decisions based upon your back being against the wall. And that's, we want to get everybody in an offensive position by having that money work for them.
That's good. Alicia, what do you think about this hack? You have anything you want to add?
I do. One of the things that Jamila talks about, and is, we address it here, is a lot of times people feel like getting more money is the promotion. And everybody doesn't want to be a boss. Everybody doesn't want to do all of the things, or it doesn't always align up in their life. So one of the things we try to help people unpack is first getting started with your purpose, right? And if you're clear on that, right? So as you're going out, and if your job is your mission field, right? And this is where I'm going to do X, I understand that, I'm clear on that. That's the first thing that I would say. And that's my thought. And then I think once you're clear on that, then you can realize that maybe you're only interested on I always say the front half of the promotion, right? Which is the more money, I have authority, I have influence, and you got to get clear. There's a back half of that. And if that means I have to work weekends now, or wow, I have to miss my kids' games, or I have to miss my spouse, or I can't do my side hustle anymore, or I have to put off going to school when I was able to do that before. Those are all things you want to get clear on. And that's why we talk about it being an option, because you get to choose. So you can start thinking about being prepared, right? Which is an option for you to say, and I talk about it a lot, right? And that's why I love in this particular episode is you start creating an exit strategy when you start, right? So if I come into this job knowing that I need to make X amount of money, or it's helping me to do this for my family, whatever that may be for me, I'm preparing for whatever is next for me. And that's not being unloyal, right? And Jamila talks about that, dating other jobs or interviewing and courting these other positions, because you need to be prepared. So those are my thoughts. I think, getting into that driver's seat, always not being a victim, looking at life that it happens for you, not to you, right? Like if I know I'm making this amount of money, I'm not going to be upset about it because of all the conditions that it works for me. And you need to be okay with that until it doesn't work for you.
Oh, I love it. Y'all are,
it's what I am control.
It's the passion they have about this. At the end of the day, it's a whole bunch of people talking about a whole bunch of stuff. Y'all know how I feel about y'all, Jackie. What I love about you all is that Alicia is like all in. She like, look.
You better get it together.
Candace is like, here go the ball. Here go the ball. That's the hoop. This the ball. That's the hoop. This the ball. Get the ball in the hoop. And then you got Alicia, she's like, she on the sideline up. She the coach, like, what you doing? I love the passion that you all have for this. Let me tell you, if y'all have not watched any of these hacks on YouTube, you missing what you doing with your life. I'm just saying, go to YouTube and you can type in 5-minute career hack. They've got their own YouTube page. Go subscribe. Go watch them. They're also on Instagram. We want you to go to Instagram, type in 5-minute career hack. They're going to pop up. Follow them on Instagram, on all their social media. They put out content. They share the content. They share the content. Go out and support them. And don't just support them. I'm getting tired of saying that too. Go invest in you.
Right.
By accessing their content.
Right.
Because it's not about doing them a favor.
Right. It's doing yourself a favor.
Exactly. And our time is always just like exhausted in this space because we get so excited about it. But I wanna throw out here, Jen B says, my favorite hack was number 3, apply pressure. We could have a whole show on that, I'm sure. She says, it was a game changer for me and led me to put my entrepreneurship journey into action. Andrea says, secure the bag for the fam. Okay, so I'm excited that you got your own fan club up in here on the YouTube page that are big up in what you all do. But before we get out of here, because we only got like 5 minutes left, y'all, I want to give Candace an opportunity to tell us what she likes about that option as well, that option hack.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think the word, I'll start with a word, and it's freedom.
Mm.
Jamila talked about you getting control over your career. Alicia talked about, defining your purpose. All of that leads to that freedom that whenever you decide to retire, it doesn't have to be 62. You've made strategic decisions along your career using these options that give you the freedom. And when I'm thinking about freedom for myself too, I told you I was a leader of my family. I'm now thinking about it and want to help my clients think about it in terms of for their children. Right? Because a lot of the things that we share in the 5-minute career hack, we didn't just go through our careers and have this like success at every step of the way.
Right.
We have pitfalls, we have failures that if we had known this stuff in advance, right, we probably would be a little bit more free. Jamila likes to say she'd be on that private island by now if she had known these things in advance. But when I think forward to me teaching this to not just millennials and the younger generation, but how do I help others to get to that place of freedom where they're not worried about the next step in their career or the next, dollar that's going to go in their bank account and not their investment account.
Y'all with these tweetable moments, y'all are good at what y'all do. I'm just saying. We are at the end of our segment, our Encouraging Expert segment. And before Charnel and I say whatever we gonna say, we want to give you ladies an opportunity to let the people know how they can connect with you, how they can watch you, listen to you, work with you, whatever you do. Go ahead and let them know right now.
So you can obviously find us. We've got a YouTube channel for those of you watching us on YouTube, 5-Minute Career Hack on YouTube. On IG, it's at 5-Minute Career Hack. Twitter, at 5MIN Career Hack. We're also on LinkedIn. We're going to be doing a LinkedIn hacking webinar March 3rd at 7 p.m. Central Time. So free registration. That's free to anyone that wants to attend on March 3rd. We're doing that free LinkedIn webinar. We want to show you how to hit the angles on that social media platform and turn that into a situation where you're getting recruiters in your DMs and exploring other options, even on the services marketplace, right? There's so much on LinkedIn that's so untapped, and we're going to be sharing on that on March 3rd. And of course, you can check out our podcast here on YouTube. But if you're listening in the car, we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music. Pretty much everywhere you listen to your podcast, you can catch us in the car for about 5-6 minutes with the intro and outro.
I love it. All right. Well, Charnel, what you got to say, sis?
Well, you can find me on
Where can the people find you, Charnel?
Instagram.
Charnel26. Instagram, Charnel26.
Let me tell you. Listen, they should know why we laughing.
They should.
Because we do it every month.
And I just want to say this. I'm glad they put the shot on the both of us. This is what you do when you already run a whole successful. When you can say, I've built $1 million business, that's what you act like right there. You can just find me on Charnel26. Okay. When you knew, you go. You can find me on Speak Up Sis Podcast on Instagram. And
that's what I did the first time.
And all these things. Listen, y'all know we like to joke and play around in this space, but Encouraging Experts is a place for you to be encouraged. And we want to thank Alicia, Jamila, as well as Candace, the women, the CEOs, the founders of the 5-Minute Career Hack. You all have been phenomenal tonight. We have enjoyed you. I think we did a great job, Charnel. What do you think on our first entrepreneurs to be on the show? I'm impressed. I'm probably going to be on LinkedIn watching what they're going to be doing. I'm probably going to be there learning some stuff. So ladies, we appreciate you. We thank you for coming into this space and sharing space with us. We thank you for sharing your career hacks, your knowledge, just your positive outlooks on life and business and all that good stuff. We appreciate you for joining us here on Speak Up Sis podcast for encouraging experts. And don't forget, everyone, we are here every third Monday of the month. And now we will be having some entrepreneurs in the space other than ourselves to come share what it is that they do with you to encourage you to stick and stay in your entrepreneurial lane or your corporate lane, whatever it is that you're doing. And we will always have strategies for you as well to take away to help you be better and continue to make progress on your journey. So we love you. And until next time, we'll see you. Bye.
Bye.
Night.
Good night.
Good night.